Brodes Media.
That's a fucking damn good win to start the year off. Dallas sucks, we all know that. But I love the way that this offense looked for a week one performance with not a lot of practice time with AJ and Devontae and a new offensive coordinator and play caller. And we'll get into the lack of targets towards AJ, which I don't think is going to be a common trend. It's just how this particular game went. And we'll get into all that. But I think where we have to start is with two grown men spitting on one another. What the hell? I know. It's where we are. Now, here's the truth. Dak Prescott is a trash bag. It's that simple. What you can't do is call Jalen Carter all sorts of names when you see the original slow motion. And then when we finally, 3 hours later, see Dak do it first and make a very disgusting gesture towards him too. Now it can't change. You thought Jalen Carter was a scumbag because he did something so disgraceful, only to find out it was your guy to do it first. But I find this hysterical. Think of the two quarterbacks, the two leaders. Do you think ever Jalen Hurts prepared for a football game and said, here's how I'm going to get things started? I'm going to go on the road against a division opponent in a hostile environment, and I'm going to spit at their best player. Fuck no! Fuck no! You know what he thinks? I'm going to be the best quarterback on planet Earth for 4 quarters, and no one's going to stop me. I'm going to be so locked in that we're coming out of this place with a W, no matter what it takes. I'm going to make every throw I need to. I'm not going to turn the rock over. I'm going to play a smart game. I'm going to read the defense. I'm going to check at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to do whatever is necessary. All within the fine lines of the game. There's the difference between the two mentalities. Dak Prescott hasn't played football in a long time. That didn't accidentally happen. That had to be premeditated. You don't accidentally do that. He went out of his way, right in between two linemen, hiding like the trash bag that he is, and went full. One organization is going through one of the biggest identity crises that they've ever been through, and the other is the gold standard of the NFL. Winning championships and going to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. You're watching them raise a banner in their building. There's the difference. That doesn't excuse Jalen Carter, because Jalen Carter needs to know better. He put his team in a very difficult position. That game probably wouldn't have been as close if he was on the field, because now their offensive line has to double team, which opens up lanes for Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, and anybody else. So you remove that. And you got guys like Jordan Davis who are probably huffing and puffing even after losing 40-something pounds. You're putting these guys in very difficult positions. We need you. He's not just a different personality for the defense. He's a different personality. And when I say personality, I'm saying that the team itself, the defense and the defense's personality is night and day with him on and off the field. But it's not just applied to the defense. The team's personality changes when he's on and off the field. Because what I loved about this group last season is they just played complementary football when they hit their stride. Same applies to what they're going to have to be this upcoming campaign if they want to repeat. What the defense does impacts what the offense can do. What the offense can do at times with long sustained drives can absolutely 1,000% help what the defense can do. We need Jalen Carter out there. You can't fall for it. It's a controllable. This is what you need to do. That anger that you have, and it's all bottled up, get to the fucking quarterback and hurt him. Not actually in a malicious way, but hit him. Hit him hard. Make him feel it. You fucking spit at me. You fucking jerk off. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. And take him to the ground 2 or 3 times in a night. That's how you get revenge. That's how you get back at him. That's how you need to use that. I can't wait to see when these two teams meet up again and Jalen Carter gets that opportunity. He addressed the media post-game. He said he can't do that. I didn't see too much of what was stated other than he said he needs to be better for his teammates and for his fans as well, which is totally 1,000% true. But what a strange game, huh? Think about it. Adoree Jackson sucks. This man is hot garbage. They need to address that immediately. And we were worried, but I thought there was a way you could survive. And maybe if Jalen Carter is out there, then you do have more of a probability to survive, at least a little bit better than that. That was horrible. Adoree Jackson shouldn't show up to the NovaCare complex because his stuff should be outside in a box and say, thank you for everything you gave us, but it's not going to work out. You're not even allowed to be near us anymore because you stink. You had to deal with that. You had one of the best, if not the best defensive players of the NFL out. A.J. Brown couldn't even find a target until the very last drive of the game. You had a crazy delay, and it's week 1 when nobody is truly established or anything like that. All of that being the case, you still managed to win, and I thought you still looked like the better team. Were there drives where Dallas? Yes. But once Howie Roseman does the inevitable and cleans certain areas up, and once the team starts to click a bit more, what happened here? I'll say this about the Eagles. I'll spin it to you this way. January football, February football. I know some of you aren't accustomed to what February football is, but I've seen the gold standard Eagles football now for quite some time. What they do in September is nowhere even close to who they are in February. So the substance of this game, it matters in the now. It matters for dialogue today. And it matters for what we need to see Howie Roseman do. And Kevin Petula, who I thought actually had a pretty impressive first day at the office for never having the headset on calling plays in the NFL. I thought there were some really, really strong things. Saquon didn't get as going as we need him to, and I think that's something you have to watch with the tape and see what you can do to sort of get that going, but that's more of like a that will change. It's just, okay, we got some tape, we got some knowledge, we'll apply our information to our game plan, and we'll get that clicking the way we need. It's the same team, by the way, who couldn't even score in first quarters last season. They couldn't even get any touchdowns going and any creativity, any movement of the chains going early in games. They're just ho-humming, getting responses to big touchdown drives by Dallas, picking on Adoree Jackson. So, you know, that'll all work itself out. I think this was a good, strong foundation start. This sets the tone. You're winning football games. You're doing anything necessary. Tush pushing late to keep the clock going. Finding ways on 3rd and 3 to ice the game. Getting stops however you need to. Now, did CeeDee Lamb drop a few passes? No doubt about it. But here's how I feel as an Eagles fan today. I don't think by any means they got lucky that Dallas fucked this up. Now, of course, there were plays that CeeDee Lamb would like to have back, but I don't feel, the Eagles escaped this game as if the Eagles didn't do anything to win, as if they didn't match winning plays of their own, and they didn't provide what they needed to win. I didn't feel that way, because there are some games where I have no idea how they won. I have an idea on how they won. Jalen Hurts making plays when needed. Of course, there were sequences that Dallas feels they left on the table. Yes, there are passes that CeeDee Lamb will have nightmares about. But again, here's the difference when you apply it in a very simplistic way. One organization is filled with winners. One organization is filled with losers from top to bottom. One team finds ways to win, like punching the football out of Miles Sanders' hands after he's smelling himself with the 50-yard run, and he's celebrating, getting cocky, thinking he's the man. What an idiot. What an absolute moron. Because here's Jahad Campbell, Byron Young. I don't know who they actually gave credit to. I don't give a damn. I look at it as the Eagles forced the fumble, and you made that play happen. And luckily you did, because the lightning strike happened right after that. But that's a winning play. You need a stop. You haven't been able to get a stop. And speaking of Jahad Campbell, I watched him in coverage once. I can't wait to see what this kid becomes. I thought he was a DB. This kid's a linebacker, and he's 50 yards downfield in coverage. In coverage. Just wait. Oh, it's going to be great. But I actually thought this was a nice game for them. I do. I think it was a nice game for them. It was a nice week one effort. Things to work on, things to build off of. But just how they set their foundation as a team. I say this in the back of my mind and go, Jalen Carter spit on someone, Brodes. What type of foundation is that? I know. You need to get A.J. Brown going more. You need to get Saquon running the football more. But I was told Jalen is only a winner because he relies heavily on the run game. Well, Saquon didn't really have that special of a day. They were pointing it out. Well, hey, right around that line of scrimmage, you're starting to see some of these Cowboys really crash in on him. He made the one spectacular one-handed catch and then juked and broke a tackle, and he was able to run and gain a few yards there. So it wasn't all dead out of the Saquon Barkley experience. I thought before Will Shipley got injured, there was a nice spurt in there. You saw A.J. Dillon get a carry for about 9 yards, and you think, this guy's huge. This guy's a monster. It reminded me of a LeGarrette Blount style of run. But in totality, I've seen way uglier wins. I actually think this was just a solid win, and the quarterback led you there. And that's how you win in this league. When your quarterback is leading like that, and your quarterback is making plays and delivering the football on time and just making smart decisions and not turning the football over and playing a clean game and escaping and scrambling and being smart and buying time, and the way he surveyed the field, and it really did look like an extension of Jalen playing his best football right away, instantly. That hasn't always been the case with Jalen. Jalen's an interesting one because he is always defended by someone like me by it doesn't matter what it looks like because we get the result we're looking for, which is wins, which means there's ugly times. There's poor throws. There's a sack he shouldn't take. There's a fumble. He may respond to that fumble, but there's that ugliness. But when you need him in the fourth, he's there. So you preface all the ugly with, yeah, but he did enough to win. This was an extension of when Jalen is cooking. And I think that's what makes me settle in and go 2 thumbs up, regardless of some of the other areas that you would like to talk about.